The Panasonic GH5 can record in 4K with 50 fps in PAL or 60 fps in NTSC. It is, to my knowledge, the first consumer camera that can record in 4K 60 fps, except of the Canon 1DX Mark II, which has a very different price point. The Sony a6500 can only record with 60 fps in Full HD, what looks by far not as good. Recording with 50/60 fps means that you can record with double the frame rate you need, so you can make it to slow motion in post. Most of today's cameras have touch focus and eye focus, but eye focus only works when the eyes face the camera. Otherwise, you have to try to follow the object via touchscreen or manually. The GH5 can follow any object with the tracking option. I love it. The Sony a6500 has a very dark screen in 4K. You can see how much brighter the screen of the GH5 is. On the a6500 you can barely see what you film, and judging whether your focus is correct is nearly impossible. For that you have to use the viewfinder. In rooms the monitor is usable. The a6500 has an APS-C sensor, the GH5 the much smaller Micro Four Third. When having both lenses on the same focal length, the GH5 is a lot more zoomed in, so I would have to zoom out to get a similar image. Since the depth of field gets shallower the more you zoom in, it is hard to get an out of focus background with the GH5. The sensor size also impacts the low light capability. The a6500 is a lot better under low light. Here are a few different scenes with different ISO values. But even though the GH5 has a smaller sensor, its camera body is bigger. I actually prefer the bigger size because it has more buttons, more wheels and a better hand grip. Also, the electronic viewfinder is a lot more comfortable. I definitely prefer the flip screen of the GH5 over the tilt screen, or however you call that, of the a6500. Especially when I film myself, I always need several tries with the a6500 to get it framed correctly because I can't see it. The GH5 has headphone input, what is very important when you want to record clear sound. On the a6500 I have to use an adapter to have a headphone input. As you can see, in my opinion, the GH5 has a lot more pros than the a6500, but consider that it also has a higher price. And the sensor size is for me quite an important point, because I love having a shallow depth of field, but also because I wouldn't be able to properly use all of my Canon lenses with adapters. In the coming weeks I will also release a video where I compare more scenes shot with the GH5 and the Sony a6500, so here you will find the link to it.